The rhythm of the unseen. Why are you sitting here all alone, sweetheart? Maya Williams's voice was as gentle as a southern breeze, a soft, honeyed sound that settled on the air like a lullaby. Jasmine flinched, the question catching her completely off guard. It wasn't intrusive. It was just present. For the first time all night, she had been seen. She slowly turned her head, unsure she had imagined it. But there Maya was. The catering staff member was crouched slightly, her tray balanced perfectly, her eyes steady and warm in the glittering sea of gowns and crystal glasses. Jasmine had been an afterthought, a piece of the gilded scenery. Guests had moved past her as if she were a forgotten planter or a decorative lamp. And then this woman, in her crisp black uniform, had broken through the frozen silence with a simple question that hit Jasmine like a sudden wave. Her throat tightened. The reception hall of the Goldenwood estate was a spectacle of excess. Chandeliers like upside-down galaxies, gold and ivory swirling in a dizzying display, and a jazz quartet playing a smooth rendition of Stardust. But in a quiet, shadowed corner near the service entrance, Jasmine Thorne, 16, sat in her wheelchair, her deep sapphire blue dress pulling around her like a midnight shadow. Maya had noticed her several times. The first time, she saw a quiet girl with neatly folded hands. The second, she realized no one had spoken to her. By the third pass, Maya's brow furrowed. The girl hadn't moved, hadn't smiled. Not a single soul in the room had given her a glance. It simply wasn't right. "I'm fine," Jasmine replied quickly, her voice sharp with a defensive edge. But her hands, nervously twisting the fabric of her dress, betrayed her. Maya tilted her head, her expression unreadable but kind. "You don't look fine. And if you ask me, this party is missing its brightest star." The remark almost made Jasmine laugh. "Everyone's busy," she said, trying to sound nonchalant. "I'm just not part of it." She had been wheeled into this corner near a towering vase of white roses, and from there, the world had spun on without her. The official photographer had even asked her to move slightly out of a shot. "It's not that you don't belong, honey," Maya said, her gaze sweeping the room. "It's that they've forgotten how to see people who remind them of life's hard truths." Jasmine swallowed hard, the words stinging with surprising accuracy. She looked at Maya again, seeing the wisdom in her brown eyes, the lines of endurance etched more by experience than age. "I used to dance," Jasmine blurted out, the words escaping before she could stop them. "Before the accident, I was going to be a choreographer." Maya's expression softened. "Is that so?" "My youngest, Tina, used to watch dance shows and copy every move. Nearly broke the kitchen table trying to ply." A small smile touched Jasmine's lips. "I was on the junior dance team at Oakwood High. Then we were on our way to a benefit gala last year. A truck ran a red light." Her voice trailed off. "I'm so sorry," Maya said, her sincerity unmistakable. Jasmine shrugged, one shoulder stiff. "They say I might regain some mobility, but it's slow. My dad, he hasn't danced since. He used to be so strong. CEO of Thorne Industries." Maya eased onto the edge of a nearby chair. "Funny thing about dancing. People think it's all legs and rhythm, but it's really about listening to the music and to yourself. Did you ever dance?" Jasmine asked. "Tap dancer," Maya replied, a faraway look in her eyes. "In St. Louis, back in the day. Nothing fancy. Church halls and local recitals. Until I lost my foot to diabetes. But in my mind, I never stopped. Every Sunday, when the choir starts, I still dance in my bones." For a moment, two different worlds sat in perfect silence. Then a sharp, sugary voice cut through. "Maya, table 12 needs more canapes." Cynthia Vance, Robert Thorne's personal assistant, had appeared. Her smile was as crisp as her tone. Maya stood. "Of course, ma'am. Just making sure this young lady was all right." Cynthia barely glanced at Jasmine. "She has everything she needs." But Jasmine saw the flicker of protectiveness in Maya's eyes, a tension in her jaw. Cynthia leaned in close. "Don't socialize with the staff, darling. It makes people talk." Something stirred in Jasmine, a flicker of rebellion. She watched Maya walk away, Her tray lifted, weaving through the glittering crowd like a quiet, dignified protest. "Why are you sitting here alone?" Maya had asked. For the first time all night, Jasmine started to truly wonder. A tray of champagne floated past. Jasmine's hands, which had been nervously tracing the wheelchair's armrest, fell still. The memory of Maya's words lingered. Asterisk. It's about listening to who you want to be again. Asterisk. Jasmine had always been the quiet daughter of a powerful man. Robert Thorne, CEO of Thorne Industries, commanded every room with a booming presence. When I walk in, the air changes, he would say, and it always did. People straightened, laughed louder. Jasmine had never minded. His intensity made her feel safe. But after the accident and the stroke that followed, his presence became a ghost. A year ago, they were on their way to a gala. She remembered her laughter, his teasing. Then came the sound of breaking glass, the screaming, a smell she would never forget. Her spine had been severely damaged. 3 days later, from the stress, her father suffered a stroke. Neither of them had danced since. Robert had raised her like a partner after her mother passed, a team, Thorne and Thorne. "I build business, you build beauty," he'd said. Jasmine watched a distant cousin twirl with her new husband. A pang of loss tightened her chest. Just then, a gentle clink broke her reverie. Maya was back, kneeling slightly, placing a small plate of finger sandwiches on the table. "I noticed you didn't touch your entree," Maya said softly. "Thought you might like something simple." Jasmine was stunned. "You came back." Maya shrugged. "My mama always said, if you see someone hungry and don't feed them, you can't call yourself kind." Jasmine took a small bite. Her hand still trembled, but Maya didn't offer help. She simply watched, her presence a steadying force. "You remind me of my Tina," Maya said, quiet until she got on stage. "Then you couldn't stop her." "My dad used to dance with me," Jasmine said, her eyes downcast. "Every New Year's Eve, he would put on Stardust, and we'd waltz in the living room." "That's beautiful," Maya whispered. "He promised we'd do it tonight," Jasmine said with a bitter laugh. "Show everyone how Thorne girls leave the floor." Then reality hit. Wheelchairs, strokes, public pity. Maya looked her in the eye. "I don't see pity. I see a girl who showed up, sat tall, and still shines brighter than most here." She paused. "You know, dance doesn't care if you're standing. Rhythm lives in your hands, in your breath. My left foot's artificial. Been dancing in my mind for years. You don't need 2 legs to feel a beat. You need one heart that still wants to move." The quartet began a slow, familiar melody. Stardust. Jasmine's heart skipped a beat. Maya looked from the music to Jasmine. "What do you say to a seated waltz?" Jasmine's eyes widened. "Here? Now? Just us. Just a corner and a promise," Maya said, holding out her hands. Jasmine placed her hands in Maya's. Hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence. Their hands moved in rhythm. Their bodies swayed gently, shoulders lifting to music. The world outside their small corner faded. 2 women, one with a missing foot, one with motionless legs, danced. When the last note faded, Jasmine's eyes were glistening. "That wasn't about pity," Maya said gently. "That was a promise kept." "Thank you," Jasmine whispered. "Don't thank me yet." Maya squeezed her hand. "The real dance is just getting started." The next morning, Jasmine found Maya humming to herself in the now empty hall, folding linens. "You were a tap dancer," Jasmine said, rolling toward her. "That I was. My mama said I had rhythm in my bones before I could walk." "Will you show me?" Maya revealed her prosthetic. "I haven't tapped for an audience in decades, sweetheart." "Please," Jasmine said, a quiet hunger in her voice. Maya took a deep breath, stepped into the open space, and began. Soft heel taps, a toe shuffle, a crisp triplet. Her face transformed, her eyes closed, lost in the memory of the rhythm. Jasmine was transfixed. When Maya finished with a final stomp, Jasmine applauded, tears in her eyes. "I felt every beat," she said. "That's how you know it was real," Maya grinned. Their moment was broken by Cynthia's sharp voice. "Miss Thorne, your therapy session, is in 10 minutes. We must keep to the itinerary. This is not part of the plan. Maya's chin lifted. We were just stretching mind and body. I'm sure the kitchen needs you back, Cynthia snapped. I'm on break, Maya replied evenly. Jasmine looked from one to the other. I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm not done talking to Maya. Cynthia's eyes narrowed, but she left. She's scared, Maya said softly, of anyone who reminds her she's not in control. People like us. Folks with scars, we mess with their illusions. Jasmine considered this. Can you teach me to tap? Just with my hands. Maya smiled. Yes, ma'am. We start with rhythm. Find it with your fingers. Days turned into a week of early morning lessons on the garden terrace. Maya clapped out rhythms, and Jasmine's hands, clumsy at first, began to follow the beat. There was laughter, real laughter. A bond grew between them, until one morning Maya didn't show up. Jasmine waited for 2 hours before rolling back to the kitchen entrance. A nervous assistant told her Maya had been let go for violating conduct policy. Got too close to a guest, he whispered. You. Jasmine didn't cry. Instead, she wheeled into her father's mobile office and found Cynthia reviewing reports. You had no right, Jasmine said, her voice hard. I followed procedure, Cynthia said coldly. We have an image to maintain. She was overstepping. What image? Jasmine shot back. One where your CEO's daughter is paraded around while everyone ignores she's barely holding together? She turned and left. That evening, with her father resting in his chair, Jasmine played Stardust on her phone. I'm going to find Maya, she whispered, and we're going to dance again, this time with the whole room watching. Robert's fingers curled faintly. For the first time in a long time, Jasmine felt she wasn't just surviving. She was beginning to fight. Jasmine found Maya at a small community center in town, humming along with a senior chorus. I need one more dance, Jasmine said. This time, the room will be watching. A week later, the Goldenwood Ballroom was filled with a mix of guests, board members, employees, and a defiant Cynthia. The lights dimmed, and a single spotlight fell on the stage. The music began, a stripped-back version of Stardust. From the wings, Jasmine rolled forward to center stage. The spotlight widened to include her. Maya, in a soft flowing blouse, stepped forward. They began to move, their hands connected, their upper bodies swaying in perfect sync. Jasmine tapped a rhythm on her chair frame, and Maya echoed on the floor. For the first time, it was clear this wasn't a girl in a wheelchair. It was a dancer reclaiming a stage. The audience, mesmerized, was silent until the final note. Then applause erupted. Raymond Cole, the family lawyer, stood first, then the rest of the room followed. Even some of the kitchen staff clapped and cheered. Cynthia remained seated, her face unreadable. Backstage, Jasmine was shaking. You did it, Maya whispered. No, Jasmine said, smiling through her tears. We did. Raymond and 2 board members entered. Miss Williams, Mr. Traws said, your suspension is lifted. With respect, sir, Maya replied. I won't be returned to serve canapes. I beg your pardon, he blinked. We have a proposal, Jasmine said. Raymond handed them a packet detailing a new initiative, the Still Moving Foundation, a nonprofit providing adaptive arts classes to disabled, led by Maya Williams. The proposal was approved unanimously. That night, Jasmine played the video for her father. His eyes filled with tears and his fingers tightened on her hand. You proud of me, Dad? She asked softly. His lips parted, and a single word, rough but clear, came out. Always. 6 months later, the Still Moving Foundation had grown beyond its humble beginnings. New locations opened in nearby cities. The organization, once a whisper, was now a name spoken with pride. But success brought scrutiny. An article appeared in a prominent magazine. Thorne Harris's Foundation, a heartwarming PR stunt? It questioned Maya's credentials and implied Jasmine's work was more about her name than her merit. The momentum of the movement faltered. Jasmine found herself staring at the article, questioning everything she had built. Had she just dressed up her own guilt? She needed to remember why she started. She returned to the original community center and found Gloria, an 83-year-old participant, teaching a movement class. Gloria, who once shuffled in with a walker, now danced with newfound confidence. "Do you think this matters?" Jasmine asked her after class. Gloria looked her straight in the eye. "Child, you could disappear tomorrow, and what you built would still move. That's how you know it's real. The floor don't care about headlines. The rhythm is louder than doubt." Armed with that truth, Jasmine called a press conference at the studio. Instead of a defense, she presented stories. A video montage played of participants laughing, moving, and sharing their journeys. "This isn't about redemption," Jasmine said. "It's about recognition, of movement, of being seen." The article's author later wrote a follow-up piece. "We asked if Still Moving was real. We forgot to ask the people it was made for." The tide had turned. One evening, Jasmine and Maya sat outside the studio. "You ever scared we'll lose it all?" Jasmine asked. "Every day," Maya said. "But then I remember we started this with nothing but a question. Why is she alone?" And we answered it with music, with movement, with fire. The Still Moving National Summit opened in Chicago, 2 years after that first dance. Over 400 people from across the country filled a converted train station, all colors, ages, and abilities. It was a homecoming. At the center, Jasmine and Maya stood hand in hand. "There was a time I thought broken meant finished," Jasmine told the crowd. "But I've learned broken can also mean open." She paused, her voice full of quiet power. "We aren't here for the world's approval. We're here to remind ourselves that movement isn't something you earn. It's something you own." That afternoon, Robert Thorne arrived. Despite his frail health, he had insisted on flying in. "I had to see it," he whispered to Jasmine. "You made it." "No," he corrected gently. "You made it." He gave her his wedding ring, a smooth band worn with age. "Your mother used to tap this against the table. Said it reminded her of her father's beat. It's yours now." The final performance of the summit was on the floor among the audience. Jasmine and Maya danced, and so did everyone else. No spectators, just participants. Near the end, Jasmine saw her father, his hand gently tapping the armrest of his wheelchair in time with the music. It was his rhythm. As the music faded, the room was silent. Then applause erupted. A warm, sustained thunder of belonging. Backstage, Jasmine sat with Maya, the ring in her hand. "What now?" Maya asked. "We rest," Jasmine said. For a minute, she looked out at the crowd, still swaying in the afterglow. "And then we move again." Outside, under the Chicago sky, the night was cool. A child laughed. Wheels rolled on pavement. Jasmine felt no need to speak. The rhythm was enough.